What's up, light bearers? Welcome to Light Tap. My name is Melissa.
And I'm Emily.
And today we are talking about...
Just do it.
Wow, Nike. Hit us up.
Sí, cierto. Oh my gosh.
Hit us up, Nike. With no Nike on it. We want Nike to hit us up. Well, we don't sponsor without getting
We're not
money.
Sponsored. Exactly. It's fine. It's okay.
Imagine the day that we get sponsorships. Would we? I don't even know. It depends.
That's
We
true.
have to believe in the brand, I guess. I don't know. But today we are going to be talking about the glory of God in the sense of everything you do, let it be done for the glory
For His
of
glory.
God. What does that mean?
I think a lot of people nowadays that when they do something, they kind of expect a reward. Or they kind of expect validation. You know, rewards don't always have to be physical. It doesn't have to be something like monetary or something.
Sure.
It could just be a praise. It could be something like, "Oh, you did such a good job. I'm so proud of you."
Have you ever fallen into that?
I think when I was younger, way younger, yeah.
I've fallen
not
into
a whole,
that now.
Bunch. Now it's more of no, es que I don't.
Yo sí,
No,
digamos, en mi
not
trabajo,
really.
I go above and beyond. I want them to be like, hey, thank you so much for everything that you did.
Yeah,
absolutely.
for work, yes.
I mean,
like,
pero even things también, I want my family to feel proud. I want to hear it. There is a love language, words of affirmation.
Oh, yeah, sí, cierto, sí, cierto. Sí,
Yeah,
cierto.
you want to feel validated. You want to feel loved. And that is one of my big ones.
Oh,
Not the
dang.
main one, but I think it's second or something.
I think that was last for me. That was one of the fourth ones. Which is crazy because when I was younger, that was the number one. And I think everybody around me knew. But now it's I don't really think about that anymore. Yeah, it's nice to hear that I'm loved and things like that. But I don't want to just hear it. I want to hear it. And I want to see it. I want to see it in your actions. Because anybody can be like, I love you. Or oh,
For sure,
so
but then
special.
going around, I mean, I guess everybody's love language is different.
Yeah.
Mine, to me, is well, that's why it's not my main one, because I don't just want to hear your words, but mine is act of service, which is the first one, do stuff for me that tells me that you love me. But my second one right under that is I want to hear it. I want to hear that you love me. This is me and my soft girl. No, mentira. Eso era antes también, in my default era.
Yes.
I wanted to hear it. I want to hear that people care about me. I want to hear blah, blah, blah. It's hard for me to say to people, but I want to hear it. Para empezar, we're going to go ahead and read our Bible verses for today, que van a estar in 1 Corinthians 10, 31 through 33.
Yes.
Okay. Emily will read it in English, and then I'll read it in Spanish.
Yes. It states, "So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. Do not cause anyone to stumble, whether Jews, Greeks, or the church of God, even as I try to please everyone in every way. For I am not seeking my own good, but the good of many, so that they may be saved."
Okay. Y 1 Corintios, what is this? 10 del 31 al 33 dice, siempre que ustedes coman o beban o hagan cualquier otra cosa, háganlo para honrar a Dios. No les causen problemas ni a los judíos, ni a los que no son judíos, ni a los que son de la iglesia de Dios. En todo lo que hago, yo trato de agradar a todas las personas. No busco ventajas para mí mismo, sino que busco el bien de los demás para que se salven. And so this is kind of like what you were saying. Hacer las cosas no para que tú tengas un beneficio, una recompensa, but really for the goal of everything, que es para que todos se salven. Right? This is what we do, everything. Right? We have a podcast where we share Jesus, not for us to be known or because we're some wise people, but no, because we want to share Jesus.
We want to get that word out.
We want to get that word out. Like we were saying in our last podcast, it's our responsibility to do it. And it is all for His glory. Es para que Él sea glorificado, para que la gente sepa de Él, para que otras personas que quizás nunca han pisado una iglesia o tienen miedo de pisar una iglesia.
Yeah.
And they're like, let me find some people that talk like me, look like me, dress like whatever, sound like me. Let me hear what they gotta say, but still about the main thing, which is Jesus.
Exactly. Let's not confuse, pleasing everyone every other way, as in for like people pleasing. Let's not
Yes,
do that
yo también
now.
estaba leyendo esa parte y
I
era
was
como
like,
que
wait.
like, hold up. What you mean, Paul?
Because it says, "For I am not seeking my own good, but the good of many, so that they may be saved." So he makes it a note. He makes it a point to be like, I'm not trying to like, I'm not gonna coddle you either, but just so you know, this is me trying to make sure that you have some sort of like opportunity to be saved.
Yeah, también para mí, y también I will feel like some people will confuse it like, oh, well, Paul was doing whatever else somebody else around them were doing just so he can be like in the circle. Like, no, don't get it twisted. You ain't about to smoke weed in front of your friends just because they're smoking weed and you think that that's how y'all gonna get saved. Absolutely not.
No.
It's just in that context, we'll give a little background. Remember, this is a disclaimer real quick. This is just a light tap into the conversation. This is not a Bible study. We're not going to dig deep, but I'll give you just a little bit so then you can go do your homework. Pero in este context, they were talking about food that was offered food that was sold in la marqueta, that was offered to idols, right? So digamos que el man del puestecito, él mataba la vaca, I don't know. Ellos primero le ofrecían como una ofrenda a los dioses que whoever they believed in, and then they would sell it. And Paul was saying like, yo, just buy the meat.
Yeah.
Buy the meat. Don't ask questions. If it's about consciousness, if it's about you
like,
knowing,
I can't eat that meat because it's already been offered to God.
Like no preguntes. No sabes si realmente it was offered or not. So, si eso te va a causar que don't buy it, no preguntes. Al final del día, ¿quién hizo la vaca?
It's God.
It's God.
Exactly.
And so, how are you going to come up and say that this vaca is unclean when God cleaned it? When it's, it's made by God. So, in that sense, it was like, okay, well, if I'm around you and you know de que esto, and this is how Paul put it, right? If I'm around you and we're eating off of this meat, you know that it's offered to God's, and if I eat it, it's going to make you feel some type of way about my walk with Christ. I'm not going to eat it for your sake. No porque me afecta a mí, porque realmente no me afecta. Because I know who I serve, I know who I believe in, I know blah, blah, blah. Pero because of your sake, I don't want to be a stumbling block to you. I'm going to go ahead and not eat it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pero again, it's not to the extreme of like, well, my friend,
let me join you in. Let me do what you're doing so I can get a little.
Let's get drunk. You're about to get drunk. Let me get drunk with you.
Yeah.
Whatever. You're about to go commit a crime. I'm gonna go with you. Like, no, that's not.
Let me be the getaway driver.
Exactly. At least I'm not doing it, but I'm right here making sure that everybody's safe. No.
No.
Don't get it twisted, everybody. It's all so. Do you think, porque ahí dice, the point of this is all for the glory of God, right? So do you think like cosas de que son diarias, el tú levantarte, cepillarte la boca, bañarte, manejar a tu trabajo, qué sé yo, like whatever the case may be, do you think that all of it is for his glory?
I think sometimes, our personal self can focus too much in the life aspect and not my spiritual life aspect, where our daily routines, things that we do, like you said, waking up in the morning, getting ready for work, you automatically think, I gotta get up, I gotta go get that money, I gotta bring in some income to the family so I can buy them food, so I can keep a roof over our house, so I can make sure that they're dressed and they have a proper education. You're not thinking like, let me do this so my kids have a good foundation so they can focus on doing what is good and learning about God. That's not what you think when you immediately wake up. You think, I gotta keep the light on, I gotta keep this roof over our heads. That's not an immediate thought when you wake up. And I think that's something that, comes with practice. I don't think that's something that's going to come right away. But I do think in other aspects of our lives, we do apply that a lot. I know that I do that every single time I go into something life-changing or something that may not be life-changing to others, but to me, like let's say I'm going to a doctor's appointment, or I'm gonna go my routine check, or who knows, I'm gonna go buy a car, I'm getting a house, an apartment, it doesn't matter. I'm already coming in with that mentality, que sea lo que Dios quiera. Let it be God's will. Or, God, if you are in this with me, make sure that everything goes according to your plans. Don't let me fall into something like corrupto or messed up or whatever, you know? So I think that if we can apply that, not just in those special occasions, but in everyday life, I think that we will be able to accomplish that. But no, I don't think the normal person,
You,
the normal
you.
person,
No
me
digas, no hables
specifically,
por la normal people. Por ti. Te estoy
I don't
preguntando
think
a ti, Memely.
I don't think me personally, I don't think I apply it to my daily life as I should.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't, I mean, I don't like me washing the dishes and be like, this is for the glory of God. I'd be like, God, why? Why? Pero, for sure we should, right? Like, deberíamos de hacer esas cosas, como también estamos hablando, like, evangelizar no es solamente de una manera, es de diferentes tipos de maneras. No solamente es to do it from a pulpit to a whole bunch of strangers that you don't know, but it's even for your home. I think so when we do things for the glory of God, God is glorified, of course. And how is God glorified? Like, how do people know that you glorify God? It's by doing these little everyday things, like, dang, like you are estás sirviendo a Dios de esa manera, y en ese servir you are glorifying him, you are honoring him, because you are cuidando lo que él te ha dado.
Exactly.
Whether that is your family, whether that is your car, whether that is your parents, your house, your own body.
Exactly.
Le estás dando honor a God for those things, and so you do that in the way of like taking care of it.
It's crazy. I remember one of my earliest memories of, like, you could say, like, attending church. I remember we had like this van. It was like a bright sky blue van. And I remember I was really young. I couldn't have been older than like 5 or 6.
We had memories on that age.
Oh, I do. I remember everything. My brother doesn't remember anything from his childhood. I remember everything. But I remember that they prayed over it, and my mom was like, well, I have a car to move us around, because at that time, you know, we didn't have a house yet. But I remember that she prayed over it, and she was like, this is not for me. And I remember she told us this all the time. She was like, this car is not for me. This is for God's glory. And that stuck with me. And now whenever I see like a little sky blue van driving around, I'm like, I remember those times. So my mom, she prayed over it. So did my dad and our pastors during that time.
But how was it for the glory of God?
That's what I'm getting to. So I remember she was like, this car will be used not just for us, but for whatever God tells me to. So I remember she still does this now. She would meet random people at a supermarket, at like the doctor's office, or just off the street, and she would be like, you know, God. And then they would be like, wait, who is this lady? And then little by little, she would like get into their lives and like into their hearts, and then she would convince them to come to church. A lot of these people didn't have cars, you know, this was back in the early 2000s. And she would be like, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll pick you up. And they're like, I got like 3 kids with me, or like, I have a boyfriend or whatever, and he lives across the city. I'm like, it doesn't matter, I'll pick both of y'all up. And you know, some of those people are still going to church nowadays. And like, if it wasn't, I think about it this way: if she didn't have that car at that moment to pick all of these people up, these people, their kids and their like grandkids now wouldn't be attending church. And all because she made that effort to be like, I give this van to you, Lord. It's not the best thing, but I know that I'm gonna use it for your glory. I'm gonna bring people to accept you as their savior, and I'm gonna make sure that I don't use this just for me. It is my car, but I give this car to your glory. And that's exactly what she did.
That's great. I mean, honestly, like, to dedicar como tus cosas for the glory of God y para que Dios se exalte en ella, that's like amazing, right? I feel like even with our lives, nosotros podemos dedicar nuestras vidas to His glory, whether that is like que estés pasando por buenas cosas o por malas cosas. I think in everything, como dice Paul, like, we're supposed to do it all and live it all in the glory of God. Pero también a veces, like, when you have those hard moments, you're like, how is this glorifying the Lord? Please tell me. I think about like going back in the days and talking about cars and stuff. Me acuerdo que like Oscar and I have been together forever, right? Like 100 years at this point. Entonces, me acuerdo que una vez my first car, se le había like dañado el AC. And yo, if you live in Houston,
Oh my gosh.
which we do, summer,
Ooh, you cannot have a car without no AC. You're dying.
Jesus, like it's the worst thing ever. So bien me acuerdo, like we would go to church, and so Oscar was always at my house. So we would shower. We like todo, like it had to be time. We would shower, we would get ready, whatever, íbamos bien perfumados, and we would get in my car, lower all the windows, and drive. By the time that we got to church, we were already sweaty, stinky.
Oh my gosh.
And so I think about like those moments where I'm like, how did that glorify God? I don't understand. Like, pero now I do, because it's like, dude, even in those moments, I could have easily been like, ¿sabes qué? No voy. Like, that was...
And I'm a working car. Like, I can't make it. Like...
Pero it was just like, no, I'm still gonna go. I'm gonna... Y le dice a Oscar, we'll remember these days and we'll laugh about them. We remember these days and we'll laugh about it. And now I can be like, dang, like I can laugh about it. But I also can be like, well, that was for his glory, because that kind of instilled something in me to where it's like, we just gotta keep going. Like we can't let these little miniature things detenernos. Whether that is to learn from him, whether that is to go to church, congregarnos con otra gente, lo que sea. But it's all for his glory. Even like other hard moments donde like I was like, how is this for his glory? I don't understand, especially when you're going through bad situations. And we've had another podcast where we talked about it, donde it was like que Dios usa todo para bien, right? And it was like, how is this going to be used for para bien or to glorify God? Well, this is your testimony. You use this para decirle a la gente, hey, I've been there, done that. God, like, if God pulled me through it, he gonna pull you through it too.
It's crazy because I think back to many situations, some that you know most of them, where it's like I look back and I'm like, I don't see it, I don't understand. Why did I have to go through this in order to like have somebody like no nadie me va a entender. Like, this is not something that's gonna be helpful to anybody. Like, why do I have to go through this? And I look back now and I'm like, I have a lot of people that I'm like, now I see. This helps this person. My testimony can help that person. It may not be the exact same thing, but it's definitely insightful to the right person.
For sure.
Because it's, there's certain situations that you have lived through and certain situations that I have lived through that not anybody can relate to. Like, the normal person cannot. But with the right person, it makes all the difference.
Y a veces es... por eso dice, Barry, hacelo todo para la gloria de Dios. Hay algunas cosas que you're not even going to know that people are still watching you, right? So when you take on the attitude and you take on the actions of like doing everything for the glory of God, and you actually do that on your daily basis, whether that is getting in traffic, really out there, my Christian people,
road rage is a real thing.
Do you really be glorifying God in the road? Not these Houston folks.
Everybody's in a rush. Everybody lives at the speed of light.
No, no está loca la gente ahorita. And so it's like, even in this moment, like, I have made mistakes in the road where like I did something that I could have put other people in harm's way, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, and I could tell like they're super pissed, and I'm just like, dude, like, I wonder if you are Christian. Like, I wonder, because that wasn't very much Christ-like person, And so it's like, do you in those moments actually glorify God with your actions? Or do you have grace? Do you have, mercy on people? Like, is that how you live your life? Porque you never know who is watching.
You gotta be humble. You gotta have the humility 24/7, because you never know.
You never know.
That might come
Especialmente
back.
now en las redes, like, digamos, quién sabe, like, if you're active or not active on social. But if you are active, if you like to put a lot of things on your stories, on your feed, on your videos, on your TikTok, whatever the case may be, your threads, all the things that are coming up, like, there's people watching your stuff. You never know qué vida tú estás impactando, qué vida tú estás motivando, qué vida tú estás influyendo. And so are you glorifying God with your actions? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
And hard. I think that's we're human, and I do think sometimes our emotions can get ahead of us, and we obviously, when like people are emotionally motivated, their judgment is cloudy. They're not thinking straight. They're just thinking based off of their emotions. And some people are really good at composing themselves and controlling their emotions. Others are not.
Yeah.
I may be great at hiding my sadness, and I might be bad at hiding my anger.
Yeah.
You might be great at showing humility, but you may not be so great at like showing your happiness. Who knows, right? These are just examples.
Yeah.
But that's just something that, if we really try to live a Christ-centered life, and we really get into scripture, little by little, it will get easier. But it's gonna have to be like something that we dedicate ourselves to, because it's not gonna be an overnight thing. I saw this one post about a research study that was done. This lady was talking about it. She was just like, it made such a difference, like with people that they had people that were reading the Bible, right? Some people read it for a couple days, made no difference. Some people read it for a week, they were like more at peace. Some people read it for 2 weeks, up to a month. Their anger levels had gone down. They were overall happier. They were more in control of their emotions, things like that. They were more hopeful. And these are things that you just get from reading the Bible. Imagine if you actually practiced what you read, and it's easier said than done.
For sure.
Definitely. But once we keep that mentality of like, it's not for me, it's for him. It's for his glory, not mine. Because I know I live almost every day, right? Because I'm not perfect. I lived almost every day thinking like, yo soy una hija de Dios. I gotta, when I'm out there, I have to maintain a certain image, because I am representing God in some shape, way, or form. Not all the time, but most of the time. And when I am caught off guard, I'm like, oh shoot, like I could have handled that differently.
It's como que, like, have you ever had like in the showers, like taking a shower, have you ever had like, man, if I could do this again, I would tell them this, yes. and this, and you have like a whole speech, and you have like a whole thing
played out in your mind.
Exactly, like I would have said this and I would have said that. I mean, it's too late. You can't
go back in time.
Like, yes, too.
Yeah, but no, I do think that like, if we are to practice it and definitely apply it, kind of like a lemma for our lives. How do you say lemma in English?
It doesn't matter. Lemma. This is a Spanish podcast. Who cares?
Yeah, kind of like a lemma for our lives, to be able to be like, I gotta live a God-centered life, not for me, not because I deserve it, but more because of God's grace, more because of him, I have this opportunity to an eternal life up in heaven with him. And it would be crazy selfish of us to try to keep that to ourselves, which is what we talked about in our last podcast, right? Evangelizing and spreading the word. I think that it's something in us that be like, if God is so merciful and show us his love and kindness, and you're so happy, you're like, I want to share this, don't do it to glorify yourself, as in like, look what he's done for me, like, no, if you're gonna do it to be like, this is how powerful, how awesome, how merciful, and how kind he is to me, even though I'm undeserving. That's why he deserves all the glory. That's why he is my one and only. That's why he's my savior, my father. I'm like, all these things, right? But yeah,
for sure. All right, you want to move on to our Reddit story for the day?
Alrighty, let's see
what we got.
Can't see, but let's see.
Emily's still blind, you guys.
Okay,
we're getting there though. We're getting there.
Yes,
She'll get her glasses soon.
Eventually. Okay, it says, Would I be the jerk for maintaining a relationship with my ex-sister-in-law for our children's benefit?
No, I mean, I don't see anything wrong in that title yet.
Because obviously, the wife, she's not married to her husband anymore. So this is not somebody that is technically blood related. It's more blood related to her children. Obviously, a little awkward because they're not married, they're not together anymore.
Maybe
right?
not awkward porque tú puedes tener relaciones con
a
con
good
la
a
gente.
good co-parenting
Ajá.
relationship, right? If he's still in the picture. Okay, it says, I married my husband a year before my brother Nigel married his now ex. I became very close with his wife Emma. Both of my pregnancies coincided with hers. We live about 10 minutes away from another, so our kids have grown up together more as siblings. Last summer, Nigel and Emma got a mutual divorce. They had grown apart and wanted different things out of life. Emma kept the house while Nigel moved. During the divorce, she kept the space from me, which I understood. The issue became Emma was always the one to arrange get-togethers with the extended family. Nigel left it all to her. So when I tried to get together with him so the two of us could visit and the kids could see each other, he was always too busy or simply didn't want to get together. My kids really miss their cousins. I tried asking my brother to just drop them off for an early afternoon, but he understandably said he wanted to spend their time together.
Of course.
Nigel is introverted. We get along, but he tends to keep to himself. Eventually, Emma contacted me and said the kids really wanted to see mine. I agreed to meet up. They all had a blast, and it was nice to see Emma again. We agreed to go back to meeting up once a week on the weeks she had them, on the understanding that we never discussed Nigel, but we never did before anyway. I told Nigel, and he was pissed. He said I can't see his ex. I said it was for the kids, and if he met up with us more, not even once a week, just at least sometimes, I wouldn't do that. He said the kids will get over it and that they'll live seeing each other on holidays. I asked if there was a reason he didn't want me hanging out with Emma, like she had done something to hurt him, and he said no. Their divorce was truly mutual and more his fault than anything. His words, not mine. He just feels it's weird. I said if it makes him feel better, we can do it where Emma and I rotate taking the kids so our contact is limited. But he said then I'm still talking to her. Unfortunately, I told him he was being unreasonable. My kids, 11 and 8, have a bond with their cousins, 10 and 8. I have a bond with my niece and nephew. He doesn't have to give up his time with them or hang out with people more than he wants to, but he can't stop me from doing this. He didn't argue any further, but he was clearly upset. I was talking about this with my husband's sister, who I'm also very close to. She said she 100% cut me off if I ever divorce my husband, and she understands why Nigel feels I should do the same with Emma.
What?
She asked how I'd feel if he did this with my husband. Should we divorce? And I said I wouldn't mind. She pointed out I won't know how he feels until I'm in the middle of it. Am I the jerk?
No. This is so weird. There's missing information.
There's missing information.
There's
Because for him
missing
to be
information.
that bothered about her hanging out with his ex-wife, there's something missing there. Because
No, y
like,
solamente
like,
context clues, right? También igual la mujer dice like, okay, you can come over in the, but there's one rule, we do not talk about your brother.
him. Mhm.
Exactly. Like, no.
No, there's something missing.
Aunque vos te quieres decir que it's mutual, pura paja. No, it's not.
Clearly it's not, because he even admitted, he's like, oh, it was more my fault.
Ajá.
So it's like something happened for him to
Hiciste
be like,
algo,
yeah.
ajá, and both of you guys just want to keep it on the low, which is fine.
To me, I think that he's afraid of her spilling his secret, and he's just like, nah. Like the reason for the actual reason for the divorce.
True.
I do think that he's like, we agreed to keep it a secret between us, but the more you spend time with her, the more you're gonna get closer, the more you're
Yeah.
gonna be like, let me open up to you. You
Uh-huh.
know?
Yeah.
So this one
And
that
he's
says,
scared.
There's one that says, not the asshole. The drama and problems are between adults. Should not punish the kids. There are still cousins, and your brother is the jerk if he demands they lose that relationship.
I mean, I get doing it for the kids. That's like, but actually, that's not even my priority at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like ella tenía una buena relación con su sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I have to like stop being friends with you just because you divorced? I I would find it weird. Like, why does it have to be just the kids part of it? Like, yeah, that's cool. Like, they want to see each other, their family, but I would want to hang out with them too. And then I will put it as a rule, like, hey, sabes que I'm gonna hang out with you, but just don't talk about my brother. Whatever happened between you guys is
I'm
between
like,
you guys.
all right, like if you want to keep your privacy, that's absolutely fine. I'm not here. You know, she made it a point to be like, I'm not here to spill the tea. Like, I'm not trying to get in your business. You don't want to talk about that. You don't want to talk about that. And Emma told her that at the very beginning. She's like, I am a-okay with that. I'm here because my kids miss their cousins, and obviously the cousins miss them too. So I think, I don't know. To me, I'm like, you're being a little insecure, and whatever you did, sir, that's on you. I don't think your kids should have to suffer because of your mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you don't tell me what to do, dude. Get out my face. I'll do what I want to do.
That really does weird. Suck.
I gato encerrado ahí.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that does happen a lot, right? With divorce parents. Like, the kids end up suffering, you know? I don't think they should. But
how selfish también de él de que digamos. Like, if they're both telling you, or maybe
because if he didn't want them to meet, he could literally just be like, stop meeting her and I will meet you with the kids. He could also compromise.
Pero no.
He's just like, nah, like, I'm just not going
to. It's super selfish. It's like, like, no sé. Hay algo.
There's something missing. Yes, there's definitely something missing.
All right. So we're going to move on to our song of the week. Are you ready, Emily? Because I am.
Yes.
Okay, dale.
Which I feel like I've already played this one, but I love it so much. Especially when I hear it at church, okay?
Okay. Oh, at church. This is church song. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a church song. Why do you like that song?
I love that song because even when, you know, people are stuck in difficult situations, you know, the song says, you know, you'll open up the ocean for me. Yeah. You'll move mountains. Like, I know that everything that you do it for my goodwill. Yeah. Even if I don't understand, even if I can't see it, I know that at the end of the day, what's meant to be will be if it's according to your will.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mine is going to be Ríos de Luz by Un Corazón featuring Andy Mineo.
Mineo.
Okay. So love that song, obviously, because it's like, you know, sometimes we don't know what we're doing. No. Sometimes we feel like there's no way out to our situation or whatever, but he is the way. He is the way out. He is, he knows what he's doing, y'all. Like, at the end of the day, that's what it comes to. He knows what he's doing. Aunque no entendemos, aunque no lo entendamos, aunque, like, it's hard, even though whatever the case may be, he knows what's good. And so whatever it is that we gotta do it for his glory. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Like that meme.
Yeah, so that's it for today's episode. Anything else you want to leave the people with?
Nothing that comes into my head.
Alrighty then. That is it for today's episode, you guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.